to Yarn Over 3000. This is my YouTube channel where I talk all about my spinning and knitting escapades in the heart of London in the UK. I come to you today on a very bright and sunny day, and I thought it would be really nice to have a very relaxed spin with me episode. Tour de Fleece has just kicked off. Mine hasn't gone to the best start, and I'll share a little bit about why that is in a little while. But I thought, in the true spirit of knitting and spinning and fibre arts, we're just going to take a breather. We're just going to slow down. So please, get your favourite whip, your current project, or projects plural. And join me with an iced coffee or an iced tea or a lemonade or any beverage of your choice, for a little crafting time together in this beautiful community. I'm coming to you live from the corner of my garden. I'm actually in the patio of my garden. I was going to go into the Lost Sheep studio, which is my little garden shed at the bottom of the garden, but it's quite warm and I'm just airing it out. And this weekend I definitely need to sort through and tidy up in there because I've not really had time to sort myself out in the garden house. But I do love being there. I love to spin and knit there and process fibre in the Lost Sheep studio. So I've got a week off coming up actually, and I think that's going to be my biggest project of the week, is to get the Lost Sheep studio into tip-top shape. I thought I'd share with you my little bundle of joy. Of course, it's Tour de Fleece. If you don't know, I'm sure you all do know, Tour de Fleece is a month-long spinning adventure that happens all around the world. Whilst Tour de France is happening, we are spinning our spinning wheels. And some people take it very competitively and join teams and all sorts. And then there are others like us who are amateurs and just in it for the ride, quite literally. So in my last video, I chatted all about my spinning stash, what I have in my stash. And my main goal was to spin up the fluorescent neon chartreuse Blueface Leicester. Yeah, unfortunately it hasn't gone to plan. I don't know if this yarn is cursed. But this was the first skein I did. This was way before Tour de France Fleece. This is very soon after my mother passed, and I just needed to spin anything, and I just wanted something bright to just distract me, and this certainly did the trick. I mean, it's a fine spin. There's nothing much as my nails. I do love this colour, but it's a chunky one, and I think I had, show it to you. So it's not really picking it up on the camera, but it's very chunky. It's not what I had envisioned for this particular project. Last week when I was filming, those of you with a keen eye would have picked up the Easter egg, which is that I said I was spinning anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, but in fact my wheel was going clockwise. This had a completely disastrous effect. I was so distracted, and I wasn't paying attention, to be fair. So then when I spun up my next skein, it just, this is what happened. Look, I know, it's terrible. I essentially spun and plied in the same direction without realizing, ending up with an art yarn, as in a complete failure of yarn. So I'm a bit disappointed because I was so excited about I was so excited about that skein. I tried to get my mojo back and spun up this mini skein, which again is fine. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but it's still on the chunky side, and I really want to get this woolen spun slightly more finer. But maybe it's just the yarn, maybe it's just my technique with a batt, I'm not sure. I think for now I'm going to just park it and come back to it at the end of the month and see where I'm at. It does spin up very quickly, which is a bonus. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I have also spun another fibre, which is a Polwarth fibre. Let me show it to you. I annoyingly split the skein. I thought I had 200 grams, but I actually had 100 grams, which means I could have all just done it all together. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, here is my Polwarth by Cat and Sparrow in the colourway Pink Fluffy Clouds. It's such a pretty yarn. I mean, I really am happy with this. I did a 3-ply chain ply. I sort of wish I kept it as a 2-ply now, because again, it's slightly on the chunkier side. But it's very springy, very bouncy, very characteristic of Polwarth. And yeah, I think it's stunning, and it's nice to have something that's working out. I got some books. I went to the bookshop this week, and I love reading, I love writing, though in all fairness I've done neither of those things in the last few months. It's just life has been so busy, but I'm determined to make this summer a summer where I pick up a book again and get reading for fun, for pleasure. So I just wanted to show you some of the books I bought. Actually, I don't know if this is completely off tangent, but I managed to get some signed copies from Daunt Books, which is always exciting. I promised myself that I will never deny myself a book that I love in paper form, and especially if it's a signed copy, then I believe that that has a place on my ever-growing bookshelves. So this is one book. It's called The Repentance by Kate Foster. This looks like a historical fiction thriller. I'll read you a little bit of the blurb. The devil does not frighten me, but men do. St Monans, Fife in Scotland, 1790. Two women are forced to publicly repent in church, one for adultery, the other for breaching the Sabbath. Wealthy housewife Florrie and salt serf Eliza form a quick and unusual bond over their mutual humiliation. As Florrie and her husband prepare to travel to Iceland, she insists Eliza becomes as her maid. Anyway, this looks like a fantastic book spanning from Scotland to Iceland in sort of remote rural landscapes in the 1700s. This looks right up my street, and also it really appealed to me because I knit a lot of Icelandic wool, and obviously I have a fascination with Shetland and Orkney and the Scottish Isles. So even from a knitting and spinning perspective, I just felt like I wanted to immerse myself in a historical thriller fiction with a feminist twist in that era. And I do love a book set in olden times. So yeah, that looks like a wonderful book. I can't wait to read that. Again, signed by the author. The book is called Lack by Cecilia Knapp. That's the one. It says, in the quiet, lonely hours of the middle of the night, a woman scrolls social media on her phone. Babies are everywhere. All her friends seem to have one, but she is full of doubt. Just the creep sniffing at the window. How can she consider the enormity of new life when the world outside is burning? Besides, there's something wrong with her body. She can feel it, pain, a constant dull ache. She's too frightened to investigate. There's a lot going on in this book. There's the death of her mother, a drawn out affair with a married actor, blah, blah, blah. It's full of glamour, hedonism, obsession, and control. Is it possible to rebuild when all you feel is lack? I was immediately pulled to this book. I do, as much as I love a historical thriller, I also love very modern books, books that really touch on the pulse points of what's happening in society, kind of modern feminism gone wrong, and that kind of the chaos of it all. Speaking of which, this is the book I'm currently reading, which I cannot put down. I actually went to the book signing launch for this event in Notting Hill. This is Fieldwork as a SEX Object by Meena Kundasamy. She is a South Indian Tamil writer, poet, and activist. And this book, fascinating, and it's scary modern feminist horror because it could happen to anybody. Essentially, I won't read the blurb, but essentially the book is about a young woman who wakes up one morning and finds out that a deep fake video of her is circulating online, but it's not her, but they've superimposed her face onto a pornographic video, and it goes viral, and it's all about like how does she navigate that world now, because her image has been used, and this deep fake exists in the world, and it's affecting her life, her family, her reputation. And I read this alongside another book that I've been reading called The Sexism of AI or something. But anyway, it's a fantastic book on non-fiction talking about the exact same thing, about kind of feminism and sexism in digital technology and AI. Anyway, you can see that my interests span centuries and genres, but I'm really looking forward to reading more this summer and just slowing down a bit and finding time to read. In terms of fleece, I've decided to spin up something different today. I'm spinning up this. Yay, I'm spinning up this. So this is the blue face Leicester mixed with silk that I got at the London Wool Day from Charmaine at Yarn Tings. Unbelievably soft. I think it's about 100 grams. I think I just need a break from the chartreuse, curse of the chartreuse wool. And yeah, let's put it on our bobbin and let's get spinning together. So yeah, I've already split my yarn into to half. And then because I want to get quite a fine spin on this one, I'm going to spin it. I'm going to even split it again into very slim little fibre bundles or nests, which I spin from, rather than a massive big bulk. So here is what it looks like. I try to pre-draft just a little bit, just to wake up the fibres. I find that's very helpful when it comes to spinning. Oops, got to be careful because sometimes it can break. That should be fine. Let's put that down and let's start with this small one. Right, Grace, anti-clockwise. Remember, it's anti-clockwise. I'm going to say that right. Oh God. It's not been my best tour de fleece by any means. It's my first tour de fleece, but you know. Otherwise you're just going to fly off. Someone suggested that I put little arrows on my wheel to remind me which way I spin and which way I ply, and I immediately thought, what, like the arrows I put in my children's shoes to tell them which one is left and which one is right. Again, I'm not in a comfortable position. Hold on. get into better positions, shall we? Drop a little bit. This one I'm doing a worsted, so I'm doing a forward draw short. I'm trying to deliberately slow myself down with this particular fibre. I don't want to spin too fast. I think that's what I also figured out with my neon chartreuse and even the Polwarth, is that my feet are going 10 to the dozen and it's not allowing enough twist into the yarn, so that actually it is bubbling up a little bit too much. But this is exactly what I'm hoping for and looking for. And actually I'm really glad that I've put the blue face Leicester in the sherbet pink on the wheel. The other thing I forgot to tell you guys is that my I had ordered an electric drum carder from Etsy, but unfortunately that either was a scam, an Etsy scam, because as soon as I ordered it and paid for it, the shop disappeared and I couldn't contact anybody. And they had sent me a tracking ID, and I saw my little parcel tracking all through Europe and then get stuck in customs at the Netherlands. And it's been there for over 10 days now. So part of me wonders whether it was just a sort of, I don't know, partial scam, or is the tracking thing even real? You know. Oh, I desperately need to oil my wheel, don't I? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Luckily, Etsy were fantastic. I had to wait for the full time that it was quoted. It was supposed to come to me by the 5th. You do have to be careful with these kind of things. I was really disappointed because it sort of stalled my Tour de Fleece prep, because I was actually doing the Tour de Fleece prologue, which was preparing all my fibre before ready to spin for the 4th of July. But because I knew I was getting a carder, I thought I just stopped in my tracks. I didn't finish carding up my Shetland by hand with hand carders. Anyway, I have now ordered a classic carder, drum carder, from the Classic Carder Company, which are a brilliant British-based specialist in drum carders. I wasn't sure whether to get the compact one or the regular size one. In the end, I decided to get the regular size one because, well, it's bigger and has a larger surface area, which means you'll get through more fleece in a shorter period of time. And let's be real, I'm not going to be carrying my drum carder on the bus, am I? I'm not going anywhere with my drum carder. It's going to firmly live in the studio. So yeah, that's going to be coming hopefully in the next few days. And then we can actually really get started with Tour de Fleece, because I've got all the Shetland I need to process and the Manx locked in as well, so the British breeds. I did reply to an email from a lovely alpaca fibre breeder in England who contacted our spinning guild a year ago, and I put in a request for a reddish brown cinnamon hued alpaca fleece if it comes her way. I know I have no business buying any more fleece. I've still got 3 that I haven't processed even. But God, I love a good fleece. And it's something I find very relaxing, processing wool, processing fleece. That London Wool Day was really the highlight of summer for me so far. It really opened up my eyes to the beauty of British sheep breeds and this woolly fibre community. I can spin and talk, and then I'm not moving the fibre up the bobbin like I should be, and then it gets a bit loose on the bobbin, and I don't like when the fibre isn't tightly wound onto the bobbin. I don't know if that even makes a difference for anybody or anything. As I said before, I'm very much an amateur at all of this. What else did I want to talk to you guys about? Yesterday marked my mother's 6-month passing anniversary, and you know, I really don't want my YouTube to become a, you know, all about grief and morbid things, but at the same time, 6 months on, I can't stop thinking about her, and I don't ever want to stop talking about her. I just find how, you know, not just my mother, but so many women just get erased. Their memories just get completely erased. Her legacy and her memory to live on. I know it will, through me and my daughters, who every day, even their looks, they look just like my oldest. Looks just like my mother. If you look at a photograph of Mummy when she was a little girl, she is this identical image of my daughter. I now realise how fortunate I am, because not everybody has the privilege of not only having a close relationship with their mother, but someone they consider their best friend. You know, we were more than just mother-daughter, we were best friends. And I think that's what I miss the most, is I miss the chat. Like, I miss having a cup of tea with her and a cake. Crying. Let's talk about the summer. So, have you guys got any plans over the summer? Are you guys going anywhere? What do you tend to do in the hot months? Or is it hot where you are living? The last few summers, actually, we've been abroad. Sometimes we go to Europe. We've been to Ibiza, which I actually love. I love music, and I love hiking, and I love being by the sea. We've been to Portugal. Because we have small children, we haven't done a long haul trip in a long time. Before we had children, we were all over the place. We were traveling to Thailand and Malaysia and India and really all over the world. But after having 2 small children back to back, and COVID, during COVID, should I say, having 2 children during the lockdown, it's put we don't travel too far. We try and keep our flying or traveling distances quite short, to a few hours, though I'm hoping that might change in the next year or 2 as the children are getting older. I remember once my youngest, I think she must have been 2 or 3, and as the plane was departing and literally ascending into the sky, it was at that point she was like, Mummy, I need to go to the toilet. I'm like, we cannot get out of our seats. Anyway, I don't need to tell you what happened after that, but fair to say we had an accident at 16,000 feet. Thing up so beautifully. I'm so happy with it. Charmaine, you are a goddess. I don't know how you do it. I honestly don't know how fibre people do it. They're just so clever. There's so much to think about, isn't there? It's not just about colours. I think we can all get lulled, especially with the online world and everything's being so visual. We can get lulled into this false sense of security that it's all about the colour. It's all about the blend. It's all about the colourways. But actually, it's much more than the colour. It's about the texture. It's about the ease of use. It's about how fibres are blended with one another, whether they're a pure solo breed that you're working with, or whether someone has gone to the careful art of blending blue-faced Leicester with silk or yak or merino, or just stunning, isn't it? It's just absolutely amazing. It's something that I don't think I have the knack for. However, having said that, I do have a indigo dye batt, what I call the mother batt, which is a ferrous sulfate batt, at the bottom of the garden, and I am considering waking her up. So if any of you are natural dyers in this community, you'll know that indigo is the purest original blue. It's the only plant that gives that hue of blue, or the original plant, though British woad can give a blue, I believe. Might have to fact check that. And I learnt last summer that you can make indigo in a cool batt, so a batt that doesn't require any heat, with ferrous sulfate or iron powder. And I've got a trash can in the bottom of my garden. So maybe in the next video I might share a bit about that journey, waking up my indigo. Oh, we had the best summer last year with the girls. We were tie-dyeing everything and anything we can get our hands on. I still have some t-shirts that have been tie-dyed with my indigo going strong. But yeah, I think it's time for Act 2. So next week I'm definitely going to wake up the indigo, I think, especially as the weather's so beautiful and nice. It was amazing because basically the summer turned blue. Everything in the garden, everything on the washing line, everything I was making was blue. I would also love to try and dye with madder root, which gives a lovely rustic red and pinks and burnt orange. So it's kind of a natural red, and also very native to my country of origin. So my family are from Sri Lanka, so madder root is synonymous there. But you can also dye with other things like avocado pits, red onion skins. Red onion skins are great because they don't need any, they have tannin, so they don't need anything to be added, a mordant, to fix the colour. It fixes itself. So that was the other thing. Last summer my mother had collected a bag of onion skins for me because I told her about how we were going to dye with red onion skins. What did she do with that bag? Maybe she kept it in the freezer. I should go and check. We never got it in the end. She went abroad and I must check where were those bag of onion skins. I don't know if you can see, but I'm really enjoying myself. I love spinning so much. I'm so glad that I got a spinning wheel. And I tell anyone who will listen to me to get themselves a drop spindle, get themselves a spinning wheel. Just enjoy yourself, have fun with it, don't overthink it. I met with a knitwear designer at a course last weekend, and she doesn't spin, and I just said to her, do it, get a drop spindle, get a Turkish spindle. It's inexpensive, it doesn't take up a lot of space like an actual wheel does, and it's a lovely pastime. And I do find that I can spin in the heat. So today it's 30 degrees in London, and I'm good. I'm absolutely good. Whereas I find being underneath a whole load of wool to knit with quite challenging in hot weather. And actually last summer, before I got my spinning wheel, I put a pause on my knitting for about 3-4 months. Just so beautiful. I'm going purposely very slowly with my treadling, and that's making a big difference because it's just allowing time for the fibre to twist. I think what I was doing before was going almost double the speed that I am right now, and funneling the fibre at double the speed into the wheel. So yes, of course, the fibre was going in onto the bobbin, but the fibre that was coming out, resulting, was very loosely spun. And now I'm starting to realise it's actually maybe better to over twist a little bit, because through the process of plying, through the process of setting the twist, you lose a little bit of that integrity, you lose a little bit of that twist as the process goes on and on. So actually, even if you slightly over twist at the beginning, it's fine, because it kind of works its way out. Anyway, I think I'm going to bring the video to a pause. We could literally sit with you all day, for a whole hour, hours even, doing this. But we have books to read, tea to make, food to eat, a fan to turn on. Anyway, it's been absolutely lovely spending this little bit of time with you. I just want to say again, I say in every video, but thank you so much for being a wonderful community. Thank you for allowing me to be authentic and vulnerable and share with you all this journey, this of life. I was thinking about it the other day, how I started this YouTube channel a few months ago, and I was really nervous about putting myself out there on the interweb. You know, and I've got a prominent job, and you know, I thought about all of those things very carefully, and I just, you know what, life, if anything I've learnt this year, it is that life is too short to be afraid. We should never be afraid of being who we want to be. We shouldn't be afraid of being at peace with who we are, or sharing ourselves with the world. You deserve to shout from the rooftops who you are. You deserve to take up space, and you deserve to have that moment of joy in your life, however that comes to you. It may be through sewing or knitting or spinning or riding your bike or swimming in open water or cooking for your family or reading a book. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you carve that time out for yourself. You do not need to make a song and dance about it. You do not need to share it online. It could be a private pleasure for yourself. But I would say that I am so glad that I did make a song and dance about my terrible attempts of spinning and knitting and processing wool, because what it's done is that it's just opened the doors to allow me to connect with all of you guys and converse and talk to people in this community. It's such a niche community, isn't it? Like, there's not many people in the world who are doing what we do, or who have an appreciation for what we do in this fast-paced world that we live in. It's really nice to meet with other fellow crafters, wool enthusiasts, fleece people, fleece folk. And I'm just so grateful. And as my friend said to me when I was really nervous about putting a video of me knitting on my Instagram, she said, "Grace, it's not like you're pole dancing or stripping, it's just knitting." So, on that note, I'm not going to do a striptease for you at my wheel. I am going to sign off. And thank you so much for joining me today. Have a lovely, lovely week, and I'll be in touch. Bye.